Hey, beautiful souls. It is Brooke, and I am here with the peace dealer, Michael. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank
Welcome back. How are you?
I'm in a very calm mood. Uh I feel a lot of what you told me earlier before we recorded, just kind of seeing everything change so quickly, but wondering what of it, not wondering what's real, but like just seeing more than I can put into words, for sure.
Right? Kind of like a mind blowing experience,
Yeah,
which I live a lot of mind blowing experiences, to be honest with you.
I believe that. Oh,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. And touching on that, I popped into one of your videos and you were doing readings. Must have been the fire because you had all three north nodes in their first house.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah.
Okay. So the last time we talked, I told you that this is like a normal thing for Pisces, but you are now seeing the ample, like you're seeing it magnified even bigger, even in your readings.
And I like how you said that, where like that one experience that's mind blowing like that, you guys have like every hour or every few minutes, or it's just your life at that point.
Interesting that you say that because yesterday, that's more or less how it was. I had my music going, and every time I would pause my phone, not looking, I would stop on 222 or 333. And I'm
Wow,
like,
that
in the
yeah,
time of the music.
that's hard to do by just a coincidence. And it's funny because I'm looking at 222 while you said that, and I have the theory that like you guys are actually the ones that inspired me to have that theory that like mutable signs induce these experiences for other people. Like just that I had a cosmic energy tune up this morning with a Pisces lady and or a lady who had it in her second house. And yeah, I just felt like the presence is so surreal. It facilitates change in ways we may not even be aware just because you were there. Just because you were
Right. So I want to add to that, okay? Because like you have no idea how much you've taught me how to use the energy and work with it, okay? And even the mutable signs. So I'm telling you about my friends, right? And they're a Virgo and a Sag. So we're actually co-creating that mutable magic that you talk about. Do you see what I'm saying?
which I can imagine is already magical. Like just those all three of you, just to be in a room is just like a tornado.
Well, I mean, I so want to tell you what we're doing, but I kind of want more evidence, but I almost feel like I don't need any more evidence.
You don't, but I appreciate that you want to get that. I think it'll definitely hit a lot harder, and it'll feel more rewarding knowing that you broke through that. But that's what I've learned, especially with like the specifically Aquarius, Pisces, and a bit of Aries Cap. It's like you really don't need the evidence. It's kind of like the I can understand why Virgo wants evidence, but like yeah, a lot of it is beyond the physical, what you're kind of doing. So
It
kind of,
is beyond the physical. But when you're able to pull that metaphysical and ground it into the 3D reality, that's when it's really mind blowing.
I like to call that magic crafting.
Magic crafting. I like that. I like that. Yeah, because you are able to put into action and co create and ground it into the 3D reality and then get to experience, holy moly, that just happened.
Yeah.
It blows me away. And
Have you?
the last time we talked about this, I said that I wasn't really sure that I would ever truly get used to the synchronicities. Now, and I call them synchronicities, but it is magical moments like what you're talking about.
Yeah. I,
Now they're just getting bigger.
yeah, I love that you said that. It's expanding.
Hmm.
And when you said that, what came to mind is like I like how you kind of change the language, because we understand them as synchronicities and magic moments, but it's almost like we're looking at our higher mind. We're looking at glimpses of how we think beyond our brains, and how like we're the mouse cursor on someone guiding us on this like infinite canvas.
Yeah, yeah, I do see it like that too. I struggle to put into words, honestly.
You
Like,
know, oh, please keep going, please keep going.
yeah, I struggle to put into words just the experience, and everything that everybody has told you is not possible is not only possible, but you can do it over and over and over again.
And that's what I love about that, because it's like we're having to build the, I mean, if you think like you did acknowledge that we were told it's not possible, and we were told that during a period where our brains were formulating and really strengthening. So not only are we having to overcome that and rewire and unlearn, but then to establish that, which I think, people who do that, like you who live that, don't get enough credit, because you don't see it tangibly in a way that it's, I guess, technically supposed to be seen. And I just love what you said, about really kind of expanding in that capacity. How did I wanted to say? Um, there's my bad. I'm gonna remember how I wanted it. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, I love please keep me posted, because I love that you said you can't put it into words. I feel like coming into May of 2024, when Jupiter goes into Gemini, that's going to integrate your experience to finally take what this perspective you activated and put it in words, like have a foundation of like, okay, this is what we're going to call it. And I think that's what the whole next year is, this year and next year is about.
I love what you said, and I want to add to it just a little bit. Not only that, but it also proves that co-creation on a collective scale is possible. And no matter what we're being told our reality is going to be, we hold the ability to mutate, adapt, right? And change it.
That I believe is one of the best descriptions of what Pisces truly is as a perspective, because Gemini is the individual idea, and then by the time we get to Pisces, Virgo is taking those individual ideas, and now we're arguing about, no, this is real, this is real. And then Sagittarius is that collective vision, but
Yeah.
Pisces is the collective dream, and that's where everyone kind of moves forward with the narrative. And do you believe then, what do you think? In fact, I love asking you this question, because I think no one is more aware of this than like Virgo is going to be socially analyzing how people are being affected by this real time. But I
Mhm.
feel like the Pisces, especially, like, what do you feel about the whole theory or dynamic? I mean, I don't think it's just a theory, but like how the collective's perspective is controlled and guided, to the point where people can manifest using our beliefs, whether through lying to us or having us manifest experiences.
Um, so I feel like it's deeply connected to our relationship to God, honestly. Because to me that's where that's going to come from, to be able to tap into that dream of like a child. Okay? So if you go back to children and just how pure and innocent they are,
Mhm.
okay, they're directly connected to God, they're directly connected to the heavens. So this is where the 100,000 soldiers behind me that you can't see, okay, is coming into play. That's also like the celestial aspect of it, right?
That's so true. That's very true. I love how you said that too. That's very interesting.
It's not just the dreaming, but it's also that dimension.
And I didn't realize that, you know, you dream when you're awake too, that we don't consider it dreaming, but it is still like a waking dream. um that we which just really helps shift how concrete I like to have thought reality is supposed to be when I'm learning that's less than 1%. So that's just very wild, and I like that these discoveries are coming back around now that Pisces and Aquarius is being awakened and Taurus is being reimagined. So that's just very mind blowing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like the more that you can tap into that pure energy, that is the vibration of what everybody calls 5D.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where you can actually co-create faster.
So would you say like the 3D is your body, the 4D is your mind, and then the 5D is your imagination?
Um, you could definitely see it that way, but this is where like I feel it. So what's the emotion that you feel?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's that vibration of pure joy. Okay? That vibration, like when you first started talking to me, you said you felt peace.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you're feeling that emotion, you're already tapping into the energetic vibration of that dimension because it's already here. We're just bringing that reality to us in our 3D reality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. It's like it's anchoring down. We bring it down here, but we gotta it aligns with everything I've been learning about law of assumption too. You gotta feel it real. And that's where it kind of brings me back to our question. Do you believe in the concept that maybe certain authorities manipulate the collective to create situations that aren't even there, or like we
Yes.
okay, all right. I didn't mean to make that sound like a loaded question, but yeah, as far as like, yeah,
It
it does happen.
it can be manipulated any way you want to look at it.
All right, that's very.
Okay? So it could be manipulated for the light,
Yeah, exactly, yeah, right, right,
you
right.
know, and it can also be manipulated for the dark. And I feel like that goes back to the intentions of the people doing the manipulation.
Right, that's why you brought up God, as far as like making sure that source is there versus those who are not of God and manipulate it for, yeah.
So okay, being a Reiki master and taking what you're saying and putting it in the body, okay, for a visual reference, right? Lucifer's going to live at your root chakra,
Mm.
okay? Because we have Lucifer, we have Jesus, and we have God, okay? Oh,
Oh,
I just got bright when I said that, okay? We have all three
so
within us.
Lucifer is going to represent like your base carnal fleshly desires,
Well, what does Scorpio rule?
sex.
Sex, money,
Got it.
that's why Hollywood sex sells.
All right.
Okay, that's why the most horrific the story, the bigger it is. That's the reason why Hollywood's actually based at the root chakra.
Okay. That makes
You
sense.
see what I'm saying? So if it's operating from that, yeah, it can be manipulated in a bad way. But if it's operating from, living in the heart chakra, which is going to be the higher heart, Jesus,
Right. Okay. And then
okay,
the crown.
God's going to be here. Yeah.
That's very interesting. I like that. That's not bad. So we got heaven and hell, and then we have like the
Yeah.
this
Being
the
able to heal your inner root because
yeah.
we're connected to the earth. The more we heal that, we heal the earth.
Or yeah, that's true.
And that's the reason why Maui was a direct hit.
Mm, that's
Because that's where we were at in ascension as humanity. That was the heart, that was the chakra that was opening on an unconscious scale within humanity.
You gave me a lot to think about. That's a really good illustration as far as you know what's even crazier about that? I for the first time ever, it's not like the first time I heard of it, but what kind of really I was channeling yesterday, which is very distinct that you're saying this, was that like I felt like how we have the crown and then the throat, and then the third eye is like the mental energy, and then we have the root, and then the solar plexus, and then the sacral is like the physical energy.
Hmm.
And like I I kind of felt like, I don't know if we're supposed to, but the image I had was like we take the third eye and the sacral, and we point it to the heart, and those energies meet at the heart. And I feel like that illustration you gave me was like the divine example or representation of that. It was like
Yeah,
complete.
of connecting it all together. That's why you have your I can't say it. Kundalini awakening in your root chakra.
Kundalini. Okay, that's true.
So you start purging any of those energies that need to come out.
And then they peer, okay, through the heart.
Yeah.
And
And then you bring it up.
nice.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I truly believe, only because I've seen it way too many times, that humanity doesn't have to lay down and take any agenda that's being pushed down our throats. I believe collectively we all can co create what it is that we're wanting. Okay. If you're wanting to continue having peace and to end the wars, we co create and put that out. And they can't stop us.
That's very true.
Do you see what I mean? Like they truly can't. How can you stop us? That's our God-given gift to be able to set those intentions and then create, as we've been talking, magic.
And I would say up until this point, telecommunication channels, the ability to relay information has never really been as widespread as it's been now. And so it'd be so much easier for a leader to lie about foreign relations with a country and get so much people to be angry at the people of that country, versus now people can just communicate directly with people in that country and be like, no, our government is lying. And so
Hmm.
I love what you said, because I think that's really the basis for much of potential revolution, kind of
Hmm.
authority structures, and as they crumble. Good
Yeah,
riddance.
and they are.
Mhm.
Did you see? I don't know how far you want to go into this, but did you see what James O'Keefe dropped today?
No, you said today. No, I didn't see that.
Well, he had dropped a video a couple of days ago of like, people keep asking me if I'm worried if I'm going to die with the news story that's coming. And I'm like, oh, this has got to be interesting. This has got to be somebody at the top. So, how high up does it go? And why would he prepare people days prior to dropping it that his life could be on the line? Like,
He got, I mean, they got him fired from his own job. So I know he's not lying at all. He must have the bomb. Like, and he never stopped. I love that that never stopped him. Like, people
yeah.
watch him not for the thing, but wow. I'm,
So, apparently, a White House official has come out. I didn't get to watch all of it, just a few minutes. But a White House official has come out and said that Biden does have dementia and he's declining quickly. I'm like, oh, snap.
I just hate that it's everything that everyone always knew. It's like, oh well,
Yeah,
I guess we were. So I mean, he's probably not going to run this year, which means they probably might not even. We might not even have elections this year, or something like that. Or Kamala might. I mean, you said his health is declining rapidly, allegedly, from that source. So
allegedly.
I will say the astrology checks out, because his Taurus is the house of health, And that's everything that Uranus and Jupiter are kind of expanding and innovating, which is really cool if you're young of age. But if you're at his age, it's very strenuous. And uh, I mean, that is a kind of an indicator of an unexpected death, especially during work. So yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just from what I got, I only got to listen to the first few minutes. Okay, this thing's like 13 minutes long. Please go listen to it. But he said that they are not wanting to tell the public, but that they don't want to put Kamala in there, but they're going to have to put Kamala in there. They're not really sure how they're going to navigate it.
So we might see Kamala versus President Trump by
Mhm.
2024. That's interesting. It's interesting their hesitancy to take the plunge with her. But yeah, I think it's important. You mentioned they're getting ready to set 2020 up again. I just don't see how they're going to be able to deal with Trump if they don't create some kind of like pandemic or national emergency to get people's attention away, because he's on fire again. And people who what I love people who were dissing him in 2020 and were swearing off him, they want him back in office. So it's the most amazing thing. It's like, yep, you woke up. You remember. This goes to
Yeah.
show how horrible Biden must have been. Just turned so many people off. Uh wow. But who didn't see that coming?
Yeah, but this also kind of makes me question this whole Q thing because I never followed Q. Did you follow Q?
No, I was skeptical about Q until my friend showed me that they predicted certain stuff. So I was like, okay, there seems to be a backing. And then I noticed that there were like fake Q drop stuff that kind of got in the way of what Q really may be. But I don't know anything about Q. So
Yeah, see, I don't really keep up with it either, but I tend to come across creators, okay, that are highly involved. And they all keep saying, we're watching a movie. And I'm like, what if,
mhm.
what if, and this is going to be kind of crazy out there, but I've shared a little bit of my Jupiter ascending walk with you, you know, and where I was at right before and your reading led me to that moment of being in Arizona and showing up at that football game. Do you see
Wow.
what I mean? And the
Yeah.
Chiefs won, then they won the Super Bowl. They're going back again. Do you see what I'm saying?
I didn't know they were going back to the Super Bowl this year. Wow.
And it's the same two teams that were in the Super Bowl in 2020.
No way.
You didn't know that?
I didn't. I don't follow any. I didn't know that though. And I mean, don't they say that the because you have NBA players and NFL players coming out to be like it is rigged. Not that they control every game, but there is some mention that the sports who play the Super Bowl or whatever, like it's a message or like a code or something. But I didn't. I needed to know that it's the same team at 2020. That I think confirms everything you were saying. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. Well, so in landing at the football game last fall, not this fall, but the fall before last, I set the intentions that, if what is going on and what Q has said about dark rituals, which not gonna lie, their halftime shows do look like dark rituals. Okay. There's magic that goes on. I've studied magic. I know it's real.
Isn't it
Okay.
one of the most watched programs in the year too? So I mean, it would make sense they would have to harvest people's attention somehow. But
Yeah.
damn,
Energy harvesting, and if human sacrificing is real, and that's the reason why God has put me here, then I am using my power to co-create between dimensions and
yeah.
asking for this to stop. So
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because that is a very very controversial topic that I think is going to become more of a reality. If you think that a lot of these things may be prophesied or meant to happen, is it something that has to be stopped, or it was something that has to be stopped? But
It
like,
has to be brought to light. Okay.
there we go. Yeah, it has to be brought to light. It has to be brought to light.
And what we're seeing now is the souls that agreed to go through those experiences to be the one that brings it to light. My job is
Or
to,
when it collapses, you help people like kind of overcome it. Like, hey,
right. And like, so my job behind the scenes is to be like, okay, that karmic cycle's closing. So I'm closing the karmic cycle by being here in this moment, calling in the angels and setting that intention that that soul no longer goes through that hell.
and I'm glad you mentioned it's like a movie because Leo is the lead role, and I feel like President Trump being a Leo rising would definitely be one of the main characters of that movie. I just want to be very careful about how I say that because I don't want to sound like I'm biased towards him as far as still keeping it real as far as like
Mhm.
um what's happening, and thank you for the space to really speak openly about this because I think as far as what status quo is, most people will look at you very crazy if you say that the pandemic was planned, the 2020 elections were rigged, and some people still believe that the vaccines were in any way effective. And that's just the power of disinformation and people who refuse to see facts. I think all of that is going to be brought back again in a way to demonize people who just really know the truth. I'm just not dumb.
Um, I have hope.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna have hope too.
I have hope because I did a duet with a gentleman on TikTok and we almost hit 1 million views
Wow.
in a matter of days.
Oh,
I'm talking like, and it made people question. So it made people think, and it wasn't a, you know, I think Trump should be this, I think Trump should be that. Let's look at the symbolism that's going on, dive in a little deeper behind the surface. What's truly happening? Everybody's starting to see, hold on, we're having a repeat of this reality again. And that's waking people up even faster
yeah. Because they recognize it now. They
because
went,
they recognize it now because we've not been quiet.
yeah. Thank you. That's so true. They tried to silence you over the past 3, 4 years too, to no avail. So that's wild. Um,
So I
and
have hope.
And that's interesting to see how Saturn in your sign will make you very aware. That's one thing I lost hope in. Like I fully believe that like the reason I don't even want to vote this year. If I did, I would vote for Trump. But I feel like since that was never addressed, it's almost as if we're being gaslighted and made to do it again. Of course, that doesn't mean that nobody should do anything. And I feel like whether he wins or loses, there's still going to be some kind of revolution. This is why they don't want him any voice. And to his defense, he never conceded and he was very open about what happened. But yeah, I'm just kind of really, if they haven't addressed it, what's going to stop them from trying to do it again?
Well, there's some things being addressed in Fulton County, Georgia.
That's true. Yeah.
So,
They want to get Trump off the ballot, I heard. Since
well, yeah, but the guy that went after him from that county ended up being in a scandal with a woman. It's been a big ordeal. Like when I say
so many scandals coming out of Atlanta too. That's crazy.
so it's it's coming to light and now people are going, oh, okay, so this was maliciously done.
I don't know why people can't accept that. Like they were saying Russia helped Trump,
Mhm.
2016, but they can't accept anything was widespread 2020. It was just disgusting. I
Mhm.
couldn't stomach it. But oh well.
Yeah, it's true. But now, he recently sued 20 news media companies.
Oh,
So I think, the media is probably going to start humming a different tune, because in the end, if you are printing and selling lies, that is defamation,
yeah.
you know, regardless if you're a news company or not.
One thing that really convinced me for sure, this year or next year, we're definitely headed towards civil war. Just seeing that New Mexico and Colorado took Trump off the ballot, and now Atlanta and I think or Georgia and another state wants to take Biden off the ballot. And I think depending heavily on what happens with this elections, if we don't see a bunch of states taking each candidate off the ballot, um, which isn't necessarily the first time it's ever happened, I think Texas may try to secede. And that's where I feel like the road to elections this year is going to be even crazier than 2020.
Mm.
And it's uncertain right now, but we'll see.
I don't know that we'll see one.
Yeah, I was thinking 2024 would be a third party candidate winning, but we may not have one.
Yeah,
May-
I don't know. I think things might get a little unpredictable. They're
Yeah,
really pushing this whole, convoy thing at the border. And so if they're pushing it, there's an agenda behind it. So they want us to go to war. They want us to, so they can come after our guns. But if you know that's what they want, how can you combat that?
exactly. Especially if that's part of the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And I mean, war can still happen, but the way we respond to it is definitely going to be the vision that I got is that the war is started off of one side versus the other, but then the theme of the war changes as people realize we don't have to fight each other, we can fight the corrupt government, and kind of exposing that. But then they have the movie Civil War coming out, and that I think is going to be very wild because the
So
notion.
I don't mean to interrupt, but about that movie,
Yeah, yeah,
if people don't watch it, it doesn't manifest.
that too, that too. How do you feel about the disruption of communication channels so that we won't be able to communicate? No internet, towers getting cut off. Um,
I've not told people what I see, and you're starting to tap into it.
Yeah. That's why I was like, Saturn is in your sign. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm very interested in your awareness. And you said a lot of it, like being seeing the synchronicities. But well, thanks for the heads up. I've been hearing my spirit guides have been like, you need to go out into the mountains, Michael. You need to get out of civilization. I'm like, what? Oh, so
Find your tribe. Find
oh,
your tribe. Okay. I don't feel like it's gonna, I'm still trying to find the timeline. Like, how long do we truly have?
yeah. Well, I'll give you an idea. Um, March of 2023 was officially like that beginning of the end. And then March of 2024, mid-February to March, this Pisces season, that's it. That's it. That's when it officially begins. It's like last year we saw the parabola where like we're ending that one cycle coming into the beginning of the end. And this
Mhm.
year, like we're officially starting that cycle. So
Yeah.
you're gonna see it happening real time even more. Everything was a setup.
Right. Well, and see, I keep telling everybody Pluto and Aquarius is not a good combination,
It really isn't.
because if you think about people and their superpowers, like they can blow up light bulbs or, I break electronics. I embrace that Pluto because I am an eighth house, right?
I
So
love
I
that you
feel
brought
the power
superpowers.
of it. So when you think about it in superpowers,
Uh,
Pluto and electricity is explosive. We've seen it with the cars.
I think every time that that has happened in human history, it's been followed by a period of mass extinction. We saw this with the Inquisitions and Protestantism breaking out of Roman Catholicism. And then we saw this with the French Revolution, American Revolution, like the next time it came through. So I think there's that too. It's a corruption, but also awakening of humanity. But I love
Hmm.
that you brought superpowers, because that's something I haven't really communicated a lot of, that I really want to express, where there is an outpouring of spirit, but not everyone who's awakening is good. So,
Hmm.
it's just outright misabusing of supernatural gifts, and the anarchy that comes when now superpowers can't be regulated by law, and now you have to fight to like reestablish a new society.
Hmm.
Crazy stuff.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's more of the revolution that we're seeing.
I think that's it. I think people
Yeah.
think it's going to be like this country versus that, but I feel it's like the awakened ones versus those who still use money and weapons, and they'll buy
Hmm.
psychics, versus like the people. So it's like we won't have the money and resources, but we got the connection, and they got the money, but they don't have our connection. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's interesting. It's very interesting. Want to be crazy. I'm
Hmm.
so glad you agree with you resonate with that though. I feel like a lot of people don't see that. Like they see more the 3D element of it.
They
And-
haven't fully integrated their higher self yet.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So when you're able to fully integrate, you can see it from that higher perspective,
Right. Okay.
which is what you're doing. Yeah. And I connect it to our own superpowers. So if we know we have that within ourselves and we can create just as much as the dark can,
Hmm.
we're stronger. We actually can hijack what they're doing and use that energy and intention for what we want to create.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
Hijacking it. Um, that's what gave me hope in 2021, because the Wall Street bets, I think, was an example of that. I mean, yeah, the bad guys won at the end of the day, but it was like a sneak peek to show how possible it is for a group of people to now, stock up on GameStop stocks and
Mhm.
take it to the rich people, to the point where it exposed Robinhood, because Robinhood had to put a stop to it, and it let people know, oh, see, like they are in bed with them.
Mhm.
And that was just a group of people in an online chat forum. Like imagine the entire collective.
Right. I mean, I made a million people think.
And so this must have been recent.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And
Oh,
it was all about Trump making the statement with the white hat.
mm,
Everything has meaning. That even caught me. I'm like, interesting. He picked a white hat. He never wears a white hat.
interesting. Yeah.
So if you look up the Latin meaning of MAGA, it means magician.
Mm,
So he was like, so when you look up the root word of MAGA, it means I am a great deceiver, a magician, right? Because what does magicians do?
illusion.
I was like, doesn't mean that. And I'm like, oh gosh, you didn't read between the lines. Like he delivered it beautifully. He made you think, right? So who is he deceiving? Is he deceiving the good guys? Is he deceiving the bad guys? Like,
I have chills again, because that 2016 video I made about Trump, I didn't know anything about politics, but I looked at the chart and I was like, oh my God, he's a double agent for the people. And he's here to expose the 10th house system. But I didn't realize at the time how that would look, because like being in the 10th house but having the 11th house, it's like you have to play the game of the system, but you're ultimately doing that to give the people the truth. And it's hard to see through that mutability when people are like, we want you to do this, we want you to do that, versus letting him play his 5D chess and like just kind of taking.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very, yeah. And
I
he
have
ended.
not watched that video, and I'm gonna have to go hunt
Please do.
for it.
People assume, people consider that I predicted his victory in 2016 because that was before the elections, and I was like, Hillary's favored to win, but Trump looks like he got it. Thank you. And he ended up winning. So um that's mind blowing, because now in 2024, Jupiter's in Gemini. So it would favor Gemini. Everything is looking to favor him. That's why I feel like even if he loses, he still has 70 plus million Americans who are willing to do whatever he says. And that's why they took out his Twitter. That's why they want to put him in jail, because they don't acknowledge Jover as the president.
Well, he was recently ordered to pay a lawsuit settlement for a rape. He was recently ordered. He
Wow.
wasn't convicted, but
What?
he's ordered
That
to make the settlement.
doesn't make any sense.
Right?
Like a kangaroo court. Like, and if
But
this happened in a third world country, we would say, oh, see, this is third world corruption. But no one bats an eye because it's America and people don't like, I don't, that doesn't make any sense.
yeah, and the woman got the law passed so she could do it,
Wow.
you know. So he's exposing all the corruption, but interesting. You confirmed a lot for me because I have questioned, like, what side the fence is he on?
Yeah. Yeah. No, he made that very clear. This is, and then I found out him and his son are time travelers, and that blew my mind. I was like running out my apartment in 2020 yelling at the top of my head like, oh my god, this is great. But but yeah, like I make it very clear he's not like my savior or anything. I don't feel like when I talk about this, people can feel like he's done no wrong, but it's not about that. It's about seeing his role and his position. He's someone who's been consistent as far as like being that light to innovate truth. There's a certain traditional approach that he may take that I don't really agree with, but I can look beyond that because it's good for the country and it's good for what's supposed to. I'm able to compromise and see through that. But yeah, the reason why I can identify with it is because what's happening to him happens to Gemini males like Kanye West, Russell Brand. Russell Brand probably wouldn't even vote for President Trump, but a lot of what people communicate through that Gemini channel gets us, I mean, gets everyone targeted who uses it, right? But I'm just kind of grateful to see how all this is coming back around, because 2024 really is the return of Gemini, and it's nice to see. I'm just kind of super curious with the rest of the world who's going to get shot by the cops this time, or what school shooting or like what major catastrophe is going to come in the way to try and like screw this up, and what
I
is our
think I've already seen that too.
already starting, right? Is it another pandemic or climate?
It's definitely another pandemic, but they're spraying us with what it is that they're making sick, making it's in the air.
It's in the air, yeah. And I've heard they fed it to the animals too, and they're like taking and injecting wildlife with it, and
And
um
it's also the cell towers with frequencies.
okay. I didn't believe in the 5G thing at first, but it does. I wouldn't be surprised if that's involved, to be honest. It's
And
definitely
yeah, and those of us that feel
the
so
high frequencies.
elevated, we feel it first.
Right. I feel like that's tied to Aquarius too. Like Pluto and Aquarius is intensifying the frequency wars, and aqua moons and suns, you directly feel it.
Hmm.
You said first, so it does trickle down.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because, okay, so I see like our energetic vibration in layers, okay, just like I explained the chakra system. Okay. So if my frequency is running at say 600-700, okay, because I'm living in the vibration of peace, okay, I'm up here, right? Someone that is in a lower vibration, okay, of fear, anger, okay, they're not going to feel the same energy that I do.
Yeah.
So if they're attacking up high, it's going to hit me first because they're not even on that frequency.
Oh, okay. That's
Kind
true.
of like the whistles for dogs.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy.
We can't hear it, but they can.
Okay.
So if you can feel at a higher frequency, which is going to be those of us that are seers, that are channels, that are truth tellers, okay? Because we're not under that spell.
Right. Right. Hmm.
They're going to hit us first.
Yeah. That's another thing too. I feel like it's very targeted and it's very specific, and it's kind of like the Truman Show. It's a lot like it. Actually, it probably isn't. It's just at a much wider level, with documents and files with our faces and names in them. And yeah,
Yeah. Maybe that's the movie.
maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if hundreds of thousands of people are on payroll to play a role, just to make it look like their life is real, even though it's literally paid for. But that sounds familiar already.
Right? Hollywood. I mean, they can create anything. But
Yeah,
I was never a fan of Hollywood. So
me neither.
it was
You
easy
didn't
for
get
me.
brainwashed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you good? Do I need to let you go?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I never really watched TV, never really was kept up with famous people or movie stars or none of that. Like it never really mattered to me. I worked on them and didn't even recognize them. You know
Oh,
what I mean? I know more about famous people now than I ever have my whole life. Cause I'm like, what? This is coming out about this person and that what? What is happening? So it's all coming to light. It has to, okay? It has to, because heaven on earth 5D will be grounded in. That's the next part.
that's very true.
Like it's coming.
Mhm.
So we have to bear witness of the dark that's being exposed.
Yeah. Yeah. That's well said. Bear witness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Hmm. But those that are not under the spell, like it's easy to see.
Yeah, more than ever, too. A lot of confirmation.
Hmm.
I think this is a really good note to put a pin on,
Yeah.
especially because a lot of what we're talking about is going to kick off late February. I want to say if Pisces season is February 20th, maybe like February 25th, February 20th, the last week of February is where we really take this journey. So it would be cool to touch base again to
Mhm.
see in another 3 to 6 months everything that you said that's already happened since then or since now. Oh, I hope they don't try and assassinate Trump too. I'm sure they already tried, but
Well,
uh
they're definitely propping Taylor Swift up.
I recently saw that
Yeah,
someone
they're
you
they're
trying to
propping her up
okay.
for the DNC.
Right. Oh, well, like to run?
Well, no, with the Kansas City Chiefs football player.
Yeah.
She's dating him. Okay.
Okay, they
She's
still
definitely,
to get.
for the light side. How about that? Okay. She's definitely not for the light side. And I feel like Kansas City is going to win because of that.
Okay, she's dating a Chiefs fan, so they had this storyline narrative, and now they're magically going to the Super Bowl. Oh my goodness. I'm wanting to manifest. It's in Vegas too. I forgot about that. It's going to be here.
Yep. February 11th.
February 11th. Okay. I'm practicing manifestation. I told myself that I'm going to be there. I'm not going to buy any tickets. I'm just going to somehow be there. Um, if not, that's cool. I don't really care, but I just want to see. I keep forgetting that. Keep forgetting that I have the intention. So I mentioned Super Bowl. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to manifest. So like, yeah, I'm just gonna practice that. I'm there. Just to see. Never been in that football stadium. I don't really care for the Super Bowl. I've never really been at I like watching live sports. I just haven't. So I feel like that'll be cool. But if I'm not, I feel like Vegas might be the center of another terrorist attack again. So hopefully, I don't think it'll be around the Super Bowl, but yeah, it might be different centers at once. That
Um,
here.
well, I mean, I have a lot coming in about Vegas and about the Super Bowl. So if what we're talking about, okay, and what we mentioned about what possibly the rumors are that takes place, right? Taylor Swift can draw a crowd unlike okay, any artist, right? Unlike any artist. And do I even want to open this door? I need to choose my words wisely. Okay. So they are going to use her to reach that generation.
Yep.
Look at the generation that she targets. Okay. So that's the next generation. That's how they're trying to control the young minds by idols. Okay. Not truly knowing the deception that's going on behind the scenes. If you go set the intentions for the spell to be broken.
Oh, okay. And you know what? I'll do that regardless, but if when I'm there, I'll make sure to like beam that intention. Um, because I never really thought of it like that. And that's why I appreciate you introducing this like element of hope because I always think, oh, well, these things are just meant to happen, right? But then certain things that aren't planned to happen end up happening at these things that go against their plans and now I'm starting to think okay that could be that counter frequency so
Mhm.
yeah I'll definitely keep that in mind at least even if I don't know exactly what but see that's the thing like I think a major key feature of the rest of this decade is everything like we think like this because we've had experiences to kind of and allude
Confirm.
and I think they're all going to be confirmed more than ever like fully awakened fully revealed and it's a good feeling it's a good feeling.
Yeah. And if God has given you that gift, you have been blessed with that gift, right? Why not use
Use
it?
it. That's true. Hmm.
So, like that's almost like giving up, not even going to war. I'm not even going to put in a fight. There's always a way to fight it. You don't have to fire a gun to go to war.
That's true. That's very true. I like that.
You
Okay.
know, all you got to do is set the intention that the spell be broken because, the irony that is in Vegas, what's Vegas called?
Sin City. Yeah.
So could it potentially be a very large sacrificial ring happening. Yes, I follow people that are actually on their way to Vegas now.
The thing about that is when I had moved to Vegas, I moved 2016, and the following 2017 was where the Vegas shooting happened. Or I think it was 2016 that happened. And the thing about it is it happened at a harvest ceremony. It was literally like
But that's what they do.
they like harvested people through that, lied to people about how the shooting happened. So I've just been on edge ever since.
Yeah. So set the intentions, call in your angels, you're protected. Yeah. And if the Chiefs do win, okay, then I know my work was done. The fact that they won that Super Bowl and then they won the game that I was at, I was like, okay, that's it. That showed me, because my intentions were to end the slavery and return the land back to the original people, to the sovereign people.
You're playing the Patriots?
No, the Chiefs,
No, the Chiefs are playing who?
49ers.
Oh, the 49ers. Okay. 49 versus
Mhm.
Chiefs. Gotcha.
So because the Indians won symbolically, okay, that was confirmation for me. This is what's happening.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I mean, you just got me paying attention as far as like the symbolic meaning of the team winning, and how that might be a we'll see. We'll see. This is definitely gonna be a very relevant one. So February 11th, I'll be mindful. I know it's gonna be mad traffic, so I'll probably just stay kind of we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I think a lot of magic.
The
And
energy is going to be intense. That many people.
mhm, yeah.
And I bet you feel it too, huh?
There
When there's
was
a lot of people there.
there was the Grand Prix that was happening where they kind of transformed the strip to a raceway. So yeah, there were a lot of people then, but yeah, I probably will feel it again. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, if I magically appear, I'll let you know.
I'll meet you at the Super Bowl. We'll bump into each other.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I know, right? I've had crazier things happen. What can I say?
yeah, I agree with you on that.
Now that Uranus is direct in my 10th house, like it's that sudden, okay, you're here one minute, you're over there the next. Whoa, how did that just happen?
Wow.
It's not fun. I'm ready to be in one spot and ground. Um, so, but when you are truly of service, like I don't do it for me. I do it for my kids. I'm doing this for future generations, because if we just lay down and take whatever they're saying and we allow for that to continue,
Yeah,
what's the future going to look like?
true that. Very true.
And I can't let my kids, you know what I mean? I can't just lay down and let my kids experience that world and then look at me and go, why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you say anything? Why
Yeah,
didn't you speak up? Why didn't you know what I mean? I at least want to be able to say, I used every means necessary that was not violent.
absolutely. Yeah, no, we did our part.
I did my part. So,
Don't want to do too much, not too little, did just right.
yeah,
And I think that's a something people need to be okay with. I think some people can feel like they never did enough when they did exactly what they were supposed to do, and we all have a role to play. So, you know, kind of coming to terms with that, not letting people make you feel like you didn't do enough, and owning up to what we have done.
absolutely. I am so grateful for all of your guidance, because in going through this process and experiencing the things that I have on such a large scale, It has truly helped me not to feel like I'm losing my mind. It has
Mm.
been a definite solid foundation of, okay, you're not going crazy. Okay, these things are happening. Okay, continue walking the path, continue having the faith, because it can trigger psychosis moments,
Yeah, yeah.
because how is this humanly possible? How did this just happen?
And knowing we're only seeing like a small percentage of it too, leaving some.
Right? Like, what? So thank you for that.
No problem. And I thank you for your unfailing support and really just showing up for all of us. It's very felt. And once again, I'm excited to follow up with you after Pisces season because that's it's gonna be it for sure.
Well, I wasn't sure if I should be excited about this birthday or not, because all of this is going to be going on, and then I'm going to have my birthday right in the middle of it. But there's going to be something magical that happens. I have a feeling.
Oh yeah, I believe that. Very
So,
powerful.
yeah, I'm not real sure what, but it'll be something.
See.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. And if you do not follow the Peace Dealer, make sure you do. If you've not had a reading, progress charts, I'm telling you, I need to have another one done,
Cool.
honestly. So,
Okay.
all right. Thank you so much.
Likewise.
Bye, guys.